Welcome back to another edition of What's Cooking with Sarah. I'm going to be demonstrating how to make a TLT, which is a tempeh lettuce tomato sandwich, a vegan version of a BLT. In this recipe, I will be marinating tempeh to recreate the bacon component. I'll also be making aioli sauce, which is like a fancier mayonnaise, but not shown in this recipe here. Aioli can also be vegan using vegan mayonnaise. I'll further explain what tempeh is a little bit later, but for now, I'll show you what the ingredients I'll be using. If you never bought tempeh before, you can find it in the produce section at the grocery store. It's refrigerated and fairly cheap to buy. I also have Roma tomatoes and romaine lettuce to keep it classy, but you can add whatever sandwich fixings you like. I also have regular paprika instead of smoked paprika, so I'll show you what you can do to make it more flavorful. I also have spicy brown mustard, but again, you can use whatever kind of mustard you like. Yellow mustard, Dijon, whole grain, or whatever else is available. Then of course, I got some real maple syrup because you can't beat that stuff. I also have reduced soy sauce because soy sauce is naturally very high in sodium. The term reduced on a food label also has to meet FDA standards by containing at least 25% less sodium than the regular version of the product. This can also be applied for sugar, fat, and cholesterol content. And then I got regular mayo, but you can use any version you like as well as the bread. Now here's a side-by-side comparison of the food labels. Remember to check the serving size, and also note that the nutritional content of tempeh is without the marinade I'll be using. At a quick glance, you can see tempeh contains 6 grams of fiber and 0 grams of sodium for a 3-ounce serving. It also contains 18 grams of protein and 10% of your daily value for iron. As for regular bacon, it contains no fiber, 12% of your daily sodium, 6 grams of protein, and 2% of iron, all for only 2 slices. You may notice that it does have 10% of vitamin C. But vitamin C is easy to acquire in a balanced diet and is usually used as a preservative because vitamin C is an antioxidant. That's why you may use lemon juice on apples or avocados to prevent browning, which is from oxidation. The vitamin C in citrus fruit prevents that oxidation. You may see different shapes and sizes of tomatoes at the grocery store. Romas are fairly small and are more oval-shaped. I'm using Roma, or also known as plum tomatoes, because its structure is more sturdy and makes it ideal for sandwiches. Roma tomatoes are often used in canning or tomato paste. It also contains less seeds than other tomatoes. Romaine lettuce is also a hardier leafy green and provides a satisfying crunch in a sandwich. Did you know romaine lettuce was first cultivated by ancient Egyptians? This lettuce has been around for nearly 5,000 years. Tempeh is like tofu in that it is made from soybeans. In tempeh, those soybeans are cooked, fermented, and packed into a brick. Because it is so tightly packed, that is why it has a high protein content for only 3 ounces per serving. Contrarily, tempeh has a unique, earthy, and slightly nutty flavor, whereas tofu is more neutral. Now, don't let the aroma scare you. It's just the smell of the fermentation, similar to smelling bread dough rise. Tempeh makes a great meat substitute because you can prepare it like bacon, ground meat, gyros, or just about anything you can think of. It can even be made into crunchy croutons. Now to make paprika more smoky in flavor, I'm going to toast it for about 30 to 45 seconds or until it becomes more aromatic. Don't heat it too long or too hot because it'll start to burn. If you ever learned in chemistry class, it's to never sniff directly from the source. Instead, make a wafting motion with your hand. Next, I'll be making the marinade. A shallow dish with a rim is ideal for this, but I prefer using a pie dish. Give it a good whisk and you're ready to marinate. While my oven is preheating, I'll be making an aioli sauce to spread on my sandwich. Mayonnaise is often the base for aioli because of its emulsification properties. I made this aioli recipe up as I went along, so feel free to adjust the amounts to whatever your taste preference is. Lemon or lime juice would also be good to add. Just be careful how much liquid you put in because you don't want it to be too runny. My tempeh is done marinating, and I'll lay it out on a baking sheet lined with parchment paper. After 10 minutes, I'll flip them and finish baking them off for another 10 minutes. After baking the tempeh, it becomes more dehydrated and less malleable, or bendable, than when I first broke off a piece. Now to make the TLT, I spread aioli on one side so my tempeh bacon doesn't slide away. I'll top it off with romaine lettuce and do the same for the other side with the tomatoes. Now to cut the sandwich, I'm using a serrated knife, which has those bumpy teeth on it unlike the other knife that has a smoother blade. I make a sawing motion back and forth, rather than putting pressure straight down so I don't squish the sandwich as much. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give this recipe a try and see what sandwich fixings or aioli ingredients you like. Now let me know if you have any questions about this recipe. Thanks for watching!